Tech, how long have you been with the chamber now?
It was 3 years, January 1st. So I'm going on about 3.5 years. I came on, I spent the last over a decade prior to coming to the Hampton Roads Chamber. I had been vice president of marketing for a local mortgage lender. Spent 11 great years with the team at Tage Home Funding, which is based out of Chesapeake. Big shout out to Kim Curtis and her team. And the chamber gave me an opportunity to kind of expand on what I was doing with them and get a chance to really be even more ingrained with the business community at a regional level. I had background many years ago, worked with the local business journal, Inside Business, and really enjoyed the business to business community and environment. And the chamber is an opportunity to bring me back to that, and I love it. It's a great opportunity. I thoroughly enjoy the opportunity to connect with the business leaders in the community. Zach, I mean, we were talking about this before we got on the show, but when we talk about my name, it really has become an opportunity to get to know more people, and the more people I get to talk to in a day or a month, the better, the happier I am. So it's COVID had me a little stir crazy because it's nice to get to meet people on camera, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to seeing some people in person again. So,
well, I mean, I think that we passed one another in the lobby of the chamber building, and we have never seen each other in person. So you had your mask on, I had my mask on,
here. Yeah.
and then I was like, it took me a second to realize like, hey, there goes Tage. And it was like by that time you're probably in the elevator, but it's just so bizarre how long we've known people now and we've never seen them in person.
Yeah. So I saw my mail lady when I had my office downtown. I saw her every single day, and then I saw her like 3 months ago, and I was at a different location. I was actually at the optometrist, getting a new pair of shades without the sunshade piece of it, and she didn't know who I was. But she heard my voice because of the mask. And she was like, oh, Zach, how are you? And I was like, I saw you every day. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's ridiculous, but whatever. It is weird. So even people that you can't always tell. It's I remember a lot of people talking about, I can't see that you're smiling. So if like I was laughing or smiling, I'd be like, I'm laughing. I want you to know that. So a chamber, so the local chamber is, I think, historically known as something called a Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
About a year ago, you guys rebranded off of that to be just the chamber. Historically, what have you known as a chamber of commerce, a business organization like that? What have you known that organization to be once you got into it? Was that kind of outside, inside look different? And what do you think it is now?
It's a lot different. And I think part of it, there's a phrase or something that gets mentioned a lot within the chamber world that if you've met one chamber, you've only met one chamber. And a lot of that's due to the fact that within the Chamber of Commerce community, chambers really learn to adapt based on the communities they're serving. So in some communities, especially in smaller towns or counties, a chamber does everything from connecting small businesses or local businesses to doing what many of us see as CVB or Convention Visitor Bureau events or county fairs or parades down Main Street, while also trying to do economic development, while also trying to do workforce related issues. So it really varies from city to city, region to region. In our particular case, as a regional chamber, we tend to focus most of our efforts on the south side of Hampton Roads, while also doing a lot of collaborative and partnering with organizations and businesses from throughout the 17 municipalities that make up the 757. So our particular focus tends to be very advocacy heavy. We're lucky enough in this region to have a very strong regional economic development alliance. We have Sean Avery and his team at Workforce Council. And most of the cities locally have some sort of CVB or tourism arm on the government side. So we really tend to focus on the advocacy side of what we do to serve the business community and really act as a connector.
Just as people are listening, how would you define advocacy? Because I think it could go a lot of different ways.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And a lot, when it comes to advocacy in our case, a lot of it is focused on everything from being a connector and a voice for the business community at the city council level, all the way through the elected officials at the state level. We don't do a lot on the federal side, though we do obviously connect with the local officials that represent us at the federal level. But a lot of it is just being the voice for the business community, so that when policy and legislation and decisions are being made that directly affect the business community, that we can be that voice for those businesses. Most people may or may not know that a large company or large corporation may have a governmental affairs representative on staff. They may have lobbyists that pay to represent their organization. But as you all well know, the large majority of small businesses can't afford to do that. They can't afford to have that one person dedicated to being the voice of whatever is happening within their particular industry, what's happening within their particular community. So we're that voice for them. We take feedback and information from our membership, and we use that to set our guidelines and our standards for how do we want to advocate on behalf of those businesses, so that we can be that voice for them. So that when they're just trying to open the doors in the morning and close the doors at night and keep the business running, we're the ones that can be talking to the elected officials and say, look, this is what's important to these business owners, and this is where we need to take things in a particular direction.
And if I remember correctly, I mean, in a sense, you all are almost the unsung heroes. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you all led an effort to go to Richmond because there was some talk about taxing PPP money, loans, and I believe that the chamber had a direct part in reversing that so that businesses that receive PPP funding wouldn't be taxed on that money. Is that correct? Did I understand that right?
We've had Emily Reynolds is our governmental affairs director. So Emily works with a lot of our local businesses, with Brian Stevens, our president and CEO, with our legislative priorities committee that really kind of looks at some of those issues and discusses, okay, what do we need to be able to go up to Richmond, whether it's through the General Assembly, that's primarily during that January, February time block when legislation is being voted on and laws are being established. But even the remaining 10 months out of the year, Emily's doing a tremendous amount of work just setting up for the following year. We have special sessions that are coming up. There are elections. In this case, we've got a large number of state-related elections that are going to be happening in November. Emily really is the voice for the business community, especially when it comes to legislative priorities and elected officials for the entire Hampton Roads community. And that in that particular case, even though a lot of where we focus on as far as our core membership is on the south side, when Emily's speaking in Richmond, I mean, she's truly speaking for the entire 757 business community.
As someone who's been directly involved within the startup community for almost a decade, I want to talk to you about a serious pain point. Spending a ton of time trying to understand the business landscape in the 757. That's time that should be focused on growing the business. At StartWheel, we're here to help you by compiling all of the news you need to know about in one place. Now there's no need to search multiple websites. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.